Greetings, everyone. The mind is such a powerful organ, if we can call it that. It is so powerful, yet the things we do cause us to say, how is it that a person has the ability to make a plane that goes up in the sky with hundreds of pounds and hundreds of people and transport them from one destination to another? A woman is able to give birth to triplets. Imagine the pain of giving birth and the idea of being stung by a mosquito freaks her out. A person will do something to save the life of their loved one, and you'd be surprised to see the simple thing that caused them to fear. So that's how the mind is. And in this time, the mind is going to work a lot of tricks on us because of our socialization, because of our fear, because someone outside of ourselves convince us that we need them to think for us. In this video, I'm not going to think for you. I'm just going to put some arguments out there for you to think about. At the end of the day, all the decisions we make in our life must be right for our own life. So when I put this out here, I'm not telling you to do this or to do that. You ultimately will and must do what is best for you and yours. Okay? Now, there's one thing I'm going to say before I go any further, is that with the mind that we have and the kind of influences we have around us, it makes us really stupid or very brilliant. And we have a lot of brilliant people in the world. A lot of these breakthroughs in life are because individuals had a thought and they exercise certain faith in that thought and bring it to reality. So all the people in the world who are very successful, they first started out with an idea. And when they walk towards that idea, they profit. A lot of people will think, oh, I tried this and I failed. You failed before you even tried because of how you were thinking. Okay? Now, here's what I want to say. So this COVID-19 is upon us. 2020 is almost done. And now everyone knows that word. It's upon our tongue. It's on our mind. And we're seeing all kinds of changes as a result of it. I did say that at this time in our history, this new thing that is upon us, it's almost like a parasite that just come and start to feed upon human flesh, upon our minds, upon our bodies. And I'm saying it was going to change a lot of things. And now we're seeing reports in the New York, for example, amount of domestic violence. Now, COVID didn't cause domestic violence. It was always there. But people were not experiencing, women, for example, wasn't experiencing as much violence from men because they were always separated for 8, 10, 12 hours per day. And so they weren't in the same space for these issues to show up. COVID didn't cause these things. COVID just bring them out. Okay. And there are a lot of people now who are going through, some serious mental health challenges. COVID didn't cause it. People were already having problems, but because we're like robots in this world that we live in, and we just gotta keep moving. I gotta keep on moving, moving, moving. You can't stop for a moment. And so even persons who struggle with mental health problems still gotta keep moving because we're like machines in this world. We got to fuel those machine and just on the production line. We regardless of your education and the job that you have, we're all like machines just going out there and just moving, and people don't really care about if the machine is well, is happy, for example. The human machine just have to keep moving and turning out the production. And the moment you can't do that, you're useless. You're going to the scrapyard. And now suddenly, this thing that is happening in the universe, man might attempt to push that wheel down that hill, but it's flowing freely. That wheel is going down the hill. It's going down the hill. Someone started it and pushed it, and now it's out of our control, including the ones that who started it. The ones who started it. Excuse my speech. It's early in the morning, and I'm not editing this thing. The ball is rolling. And if you're in the way, it's going to run you over. One other thing I have to say is, my goodness, so many brilliant people in the world allow a handful of people to roll that wheel down and tell them, don't move. It's coming, and someone tells you, don't move. That's kind of how COVID reminds me. That's the analogy I have for it. One man stay on the hill and roll a wheel down the hill, and you see it coming, and they tell you don't move, and you don't move. Wow. If God was a woman. Anyway, so fear is taking over everybody. And I say, never let anyone know your fears. Not only will they use it against you, but the moment you're fearful of something, it must come to pass. You activate. Things get activated with fear. And the question I have for you all here, the question I have for you is there enough prison in the world to place the billions of people who live on earth? Is there? What do you think is going to happen if billions of people say no? Who can say yes? The only thing you can use to control a billion people is to put it out there and have these sounding heads repeat the same thing, the same thing, and have you not just listen but believe. They rely on your fear. They rely on your inability to think for yourself. Who can build prisons for millions of people? And let's just say that you've decided not to do a certain thing, and you won't be able to work because this is a story, this is a theory. You don't take this thing, you don't get this thing, you cannot go to work. So let me ask you something now. If every employee decide, I'm not going to, just like how employees come together and strike and don't go to work, and they have to meet you somewhere, they have to come to the table, they have to talk to you in these strikes. That's simple. People in different organizations do, and they have to come to the table. And now we're hearing arguments. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do my work, I can't travel. So if everybody decides that, okay, fine, if one person can't travel, then none of us are going to travel, the airlines are going to be grounded. And what? Or these workplaces, okay, we can't come there unless we do that. Okay, we're standing united together, and none of us are not coming. No, if none of you are coming, you're not going to have any money, but no bills are paid. Nothing is bought in the store. No workplace, no machine can run. See, we are limited in the way we think based on the fear. Based on fear. I don't tell people what to do. I'm not telling you what to do, people. I'm just saying, think for yourself. Each person is going to do what is best for them, and they're going to have an excuse why they will do it or not do it. So anything you want to do in life, don't say I was pressured into doing this. Somebody pull you over and set you up, and you say, oh, I just had to say I'm guilty. I have to plead guilty because I had no way of getting out. So you already lost. That person already win. You don't have to say yes to anybody when your heart says no, your spirit says no. You don't have to say no to anybody if you want to say yes, if your spirit tells you to say yes. It is just so frightening to see. And we complain about this one is so powerful and we are afraid. None of these guys, none of them, not powerful. They defecate. Same way you do. Hmm? None of them, none of us is more powerful than the other. You put that status on the person. Don't you know that, I was talking to a fellow content creator, who sometimes get frustrated with the process. And I get it because I've been doing this for a long time. I get where she's at. But I had to tell her, just get to the point where you're prepared to make a video for one person. You're prepared to come back because one person say, I miss you. Because guess what? This is how this works. You're on the scene forever. I've been doing this for 6 years. A person on YouTube for 6 years should be getting paid, should have a paycheck every month with the amount of content that I have on this platform. But I see when I do certain topics how the views go up, and I get paid, I get offered right away. I get offered. I see what I'm being programmed to do. But I'm rebellious. I'm not that type of person. The money is never enough. I'm a career woman. I got several degrees, people. And my life should be better financially. But I believe in standing up for myself. And I have core values. And you cannot control me with money. Now, if you try to mess in my life, and money is what I need to use to send you a message, I will do that. But you cannot. You can't control me with money, because guess what? At the end of the day, I can only sleep in one bed. I can only eat out of one plate. I just need one suit of outfit, and these things don't define me. There are times when you're gonna have to be prepared to let that go and just walk. Just walk on by. Just keep going. Don't be attached to nothing, people. Don't be afraid. If I was afraid, most of the experiences I've had in life, most of the education that I attained, I wouldn't have had it, because I would have been saying, I can't do this now because I got these kids. And what if I quit this job, this dead end job, and this environment where people are wicked, and my spirit is being sapped, and I'm going home in tears? What if I said, I can't leave because, how am I going to feed my kids? My kids were fed. And I found other opportunities after I left. And, I didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want to be with more than one man, and I didn't want to have kids outside with someone else. But at the end of the day, I was not going to allow a wicked person who do bad things to me force me to stay in something that was toxic. I was not going to allow fear to stop me from moving along. So it's not like I don't feel fear like everybody. I'm not some bad girl around here. But I just know what my spirit says. No, don't. I don't like to be controlled. I don't want to be controlled. Something about that doesn't feel right. When I look at you, when I go for an interview, and people say, prepare for the interview, especially the area or the field that I'm in, and you're gonna go to be in order to be on this, list so you can have a job as a professional. You're gonna have to go in front of a panel, and you have to study. And I go for these interviews. First time I go for the interview, and I look everybody in the waiting room studying, and I'm like, whatever you don't know at this point, you're not gonna know it again. And they say, oh, you don't know, it's intimidating. It's a panel of people and they're asking questions. And I'm like, well, you had the training. Yeah, and it's not like in this field that we're in, you don't have experience in the setting where you're gonna work. So talk about your experience. Tell the stories about your relationship with children and all of that. Why do I need to do all of this? Oh, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I go in. The one thing I always tell myself is that these are people. This person doesn't have eye in the forehead and doesn't have a nose at the back of their head. They are human beings like myself. I don't fear nobody. I'm not intimidated by nobody. I'm not saying there are times when you have to stand up in front of a group of people and speak, you won't feel a little nerves. But at the end of the day, when it comes to interview, and especially when you want something and you go in and you go on and like you're desperate, you're not getting it. So I walk up into these interviews and I sit down with these human beings like myself and I answer the question to the best of my ability. And if that job is not given to me, it was not meant to be mine. Because you can't stop when you walk through any room. Anything that is mine is mine. I don't fear people. Although sometimes when they're doing some jacked up things and I don't say anything, they perceive that as fear. But I give people time to hang themselves while I sit back and act like a fool. Sometimes they gotta do that too. But listen, people, this message is for somebody who needed to hear this message today. But this message is just trying to say to you, people, you're not thinking. And the biggest problem these individuals in the world, the wicked ones in the world, are relying on you is fear. Repeating the same thing, and becomes like a song in your mind. And before you know it, yeah, one foot in front of the other in a straight line. You think you're different from robots? You guys are robots. They tested you long time ago. They kept testing you to see how obedient you were or how disobedient you were. But remember, the ones who went out and created what was called civil disobedience, they're the ones who broke the chains for us. Black and white and Indian and all people, we have to give thanks to the ones who stood up and said no. And I'm going to tell you something, and you might not like this, but I'm going to give white people the credit that is they deserve. And some of these white, not all white people, some of these ones, and they're the ones who are going to deliver many of you. Some will put you in the bondage, and some will cause you to be delivered, because there are a lot of white folks who are going to say no. We need to go to some training camp and get some of these white folks to teach us how to say no, because when they say no, they don't care. They die for what they believe in. Give people credit where credit is due. Yeah. Some folks will jump off a cliff, will jump out of a plane. What kind of people are these? You think you can control these kind of individuals that will jump out? Sometimes people make fun about those things. People who will jump out of a plane, people who will know that I'm going to face my death and they go anyway. You can't mess with those people. And so in this time, that's the kind of spirit that will win. Those are the kind of spirit that will be defiant. If you love your life, and you say love your life, if you love your life, I'm not saying being careless with your life, but the more you fear death, death will come. It's going to come for everybody anyway. But I'm telling you, the people who don't spend their whole time worrying about death and worrying about being in prison and worrying about being hungry and being homeless, they are the most free people. These are the ones who abandon all their wealth and go off into some, mountain in India and Africa. Free spirit, the free spirit are the only ones who will live in this time. I'm not going to go on any further. I'm going to just stop right here while I can and ask you to have a wonderful day and to stay blessed.